Hey y'all, what's good? This is your girl Nikki, aka the Bayou Chick, and I am back with a review. So I just finished watching this documentary on Netflix called Can You Dig This? And y'all, I'm at work and I can't get in my feelings, but this movie had me feeling some kind of way. So this documentary is all about gardening, so y'all are gonna love it. It's called Can You Dig This? It's on Netflix right now, so check it out. And it features various gardens in South Central LA, formerly known as South Central LA. Now it's been renamed to South Los Angeles. And it features this one particular gangster gardener, a renegade gardener. His name is Ron Finley. He has a series, I think, that's coming out in Australia called Gangsta Gardener. But basically, well, let me put a disclaimer before I start. If you have not seen the documentary, stop watching this video, because I'm going to give so many spoilers. I literally took a page of notes of things that I did not want to forget. So if you have not seen this documentary, pause this, click off on it, go watch it, come back and leave comments and let me know what you think about this review. Finish watching it. I don't want to spoil it for you. For those who have seen it, keep watching. So, okay, so this is about Ron Finley. Basically, what happened was in LA, I guess what they call it the parkway there. To me, it's like the sidewalk, you know. Okay, so basically in the green area on the sidewalk, he decided he didn't want to just cut the grass and just, you know, mow it down. He would rather use that resource and actually garden food, because in LA, the part that he lives in, they're food deserts. And so because he did that, he had somebody who snitched on him. You know how these people like to call and report you for any little thing nowadays. One of his neighbors called and reported that he was growing food in his parkway, which is, you know, it's part of his, you know, his property, but this is the sidewalk pretty much, so it belongs to the city. And there was an ordinance that said you couldn't grow food, you just got to cut the grass. And so he was like, that's not how he wanted to use it. So they actually threatened to I guess they were going to write him a ticket, and then it could be escalated into a warrant. So he had to go to court over it. One of the LA Times reporters, Steve Lopez with the LA Times, got wind of this, wrote up an article, got other people involved, and basically, make a long story short, as far as that, Ron Finley was actually able to have a new ordinance in place that does allow the citizens now to grow vegetables in their parkway. But this documentary is even more than just about Ron. It's about different people in the LA area, and how just how gardens, how it's just therapeutic and how it helps them. And like, you know, there's no such thing as like this perfect gardener. Gardening is not a clean process, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get your hands dirty, and we have things that go on in our lives that's not perfect. And with gardening, you know, it's transformative. So this documentary is really showing like different lives and different people, and how gardening has affected them and helped them and just got them through different things in their life. I'm not going to tell like all the scenarios, because, well, I kind of do want to. I really do want to talk about it, because I mean, some of it was really good. So I am going to talk about it. It's my video. I'm going to talk about it. If you don't want me to talk about it, then make your own video and you don't talk about it. But I'm going to give a detailed review. Okay, so let me start. So, okay, so there is a guy named Hosea, and he's at the halfway house, and there's an Asian guy. His name is Henry. Both of them have been locked up for several years. Hosea was an Army vet. He was in Vietnam War. He was from Arkansas, from the Delta, and when he hitchhiked, he said, to LA, and a guy owed him like $10,000, and he ended up hitting him beside the head with an ashtray or whatever. Well, anyway, he served like 30 years in prison. Make a long story short with him, he got out. He's at this halfway house. Henry, this Asian gentleman, both of them are older. They're both there, and they both decide to turn a plot that's in the back of the halfway house, and they started to garden. Henry is gardening like arugula and like, I think, tomatoes, and then Hosea, since he's from the Delta, you know, he's gardening watermelon. So, and you know, I like to see how, you know, like he was, like what Henry was saying was, you know, even though we basically were rejects, we were like throwaways, we're just like this soil, you know, like we've been resurrected, we have another chance at life. And so just that analogy, I was just like, you know what, man, that is so true. Like, you can make something out of nothing. Even compost, even something that should be trash, can be turned into something that can be useful at the end of the day, you know. So they end up going their separate ways, but it was just so touching just to see that, you know, how you can have that gardening partner. And we all got that one person that we love to share our gardening stories with, you know. And I even see it here in the YouTube community. I see the guys who like Lead Farmer 73, and then Louisiana Gardening Family, and how they communicate and tag each other in videos, and then Supreme Gardening Family, and then the Morning Gardener. You know, I just see it. So it's like, it's kind of like that. That's what Henry and Hosea reminded me of the guys on YouTube who garden and they share tips and go back and forth. I just love seeing that kind of interaction. So that's what they reminded me of. So you guys, if y'all see this video, or let another guy know to go and check that documentary out. I think y'all will definitely enjoy it. Okay, another thing that that had me upset was, okay, like when Henry, okay, so they're gardening at the halfway house. Why did they, I guess the guy who owns it, I guess maybe the water bill was getting high and he kind of put two and two together, but he went and put a faucet lock to cut so they couldn't use the water. And I was like, that is so damn low down and dirty. Like, who does that? I didn't even know they created such a thing, a faucet lock. So thankfully Hosea had a friend who said, you know, you can come to my house and get some water. I mean, we already know that there's, you know, water shortages going on the West Coast. So he let them, you know, come with some jugs. And but what made me pissed off is because, like, Hosea has emphysema. He's getting short of breath, lugging these gallons of water to his truck, but he loves gardening so much that he's dedicated. And he's like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make my garden survive. And isn't that what we do? We get up when we don't want to get up. We want to, you know, we want to stay in bed, but we get up because we got to tend our garden. Our babies need us, and we just, you know, we do what has to be done. That resilience that gardeners have, you know, I saw it in him, you know. So I was just like, oh man, that's just like, you know, it just did something to me to see that he was going to do whatever it takes to make his garden survive, and it did. Another thing was I think it's like the Compton Community Garden, and they had like these raised beds, and everybody kind of, I guess, like had their own bed, and so they could name their beds. But what I thought was neat, that they put graffiti on the side of the garden beds, and I was like, man, that is so dope. So like, some was like patience and hope, and one of the ladies, I think her name is Kenya, she had a story. She was in an abusive relationship. She used to drink and smoke and everything, and she was really just trying to get out of that rut, that cycle, and go back to school. And you know, she had some hiccups and bumps along the way, but she eventually kind of got her act together. And she was just saying, you know what, I guess she kind of was like, you know, thought she never could resurrect herself and change her life. But she's like, hey, if I can see myself grow this garden and I saw it to fruition, I can do the same with my life, you know, to go from gangbanging to a nurse. And you know, you see her making the steps, you know, and it's not easy for anybody, but she was still plugging away at it. So I was just like, man, yeah, you do your thug thizzle, girl. So I was like so proud of just seeing, you know, that transformation. And I think gardening really does help your self-esteem. When you see that you can transform nothing from something, that makes you feel some kind of way. It does make you feel like, damn, I can do anything, pretty much. I mean, I can't go fly a rocket ship and, you know, be an astronaut or nothing, but if I could make something out of nothing, I could do some things with patience. There was another guy who was there at the Compton Garden. His name was, what was that dude's? Oh, Speedy? I wrote his name down. Dang. It's gonna come to me. I took a note. But anyway, this was his, Speedy. And he made this comment in. He said, this is really only some white people shit. And I was like, that was initially in the first part. And I was like, boy, please. Boy, bye. But I know he didn't went to jail, been in and out of jail for like strong arm robbery. So, you know, he has that like tough outer exterior, kind of like some seeds. And, you know, and he's like, you know, playing that tough guy role or whatever. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Gardening is just not for white people. I mean, excuse me, like, there's a connection to the slavery. We were out there tilling the ground and gardening and feeding this whole country. So gardening is not a white person thing. I don't care what they try to show in social media and what they try to portray, and I don't care if they put organic on a damn rock. I mean, I don't care how you label things. Gardening is not specific to any one race. So I was just like, boy, I'm gonna need you to get, you know, educate yourself a little bit more on your history. Come on back. So maybe when he see that, maybe, you know, if he watch, I'm sure he's gonna watch it. Maybe he'll see that and realize, you know what, maybe I need to reevaluate some things. Okay, so on to the next part that I saw that stuck out. Ron had made a comment. He said, you know what, every day is a rebirth, it's another shot. And that's the same thing with gardening. I think Led Farmer said that, I think it was his comment, and he said that with gardening, one thing he loves is the trial and error. How if you decide you don't want to have your garden in this part of your yard, you can move it, uproot it, and move it somewhere else. And I think that's kind of, that reminded me of what Ron Finley was saying. You always have another chance. And then there was a comment, and then Ron, he had like a sunflower wrapped around a stop sign. And I was like, man, that's dope. That's really neat, you know. Kind of gave me an idea, but I ain't gonna do it because I ain't gonna try. But it was really interesting to see it. And he said he was like the reluctant activist. He did not intend to be an activist for, you know, gardening or for, you know, changing the world or change, you know, the ecosystem and all of this stuff and permaculture. But he was like, I was a reluctant activist, but he did it, and he, you know, he made it happen. And let's see, I don't want this video to be too long because I feel like I'm at 10 minutes. Oh Lord, I hope I'm not. Okay, but anyway, so another thing I saw, it said he said when you put beauty into a place that generally doesn't have it, that's a game changer. When you put it in somewhere like an urban area that's, you know, nothing but like a concrete jungle, and then kids are able to see butterflies and see birds, you know, because of course when you start growing things, you're going to see insects and birds and, you know, different worms and things that you've probably never seen. You just seen it on a book or seen it on TV. And so he's like, it's a game changer when you start seeing, when you put beauty back into a place that generally doesn't have it. That's a game changer. That was a quote from him. Another one was, plants tell you what they need. You nurture them and you take care of them. That's true. He also said, just to see the seed destroy itself and then you get life. That quote, I'm like, he had some quotes for me. I mean, like, he was giving words. He was preaching a word. He said the garden teaches patience, persistence, care, that things don't happen instantly. It's a process. He also said we fell out of contact with the soil. He was talking about how, he said we fell out of contact with the soil because of the legacy of slavery. A lot of African Americans don't do soil. We don't touch soil. And that's true, because I know some people, he ain't even lying. If he had not said that, I probably wouldn't even bring that up ever, but it's true. I know some people who are like, I'm not going in, why am I doing that? Do I like a slave? I'm not about to get out there and touch no damn hole, no shovel. I'm not about to dig and do nothing. They won't do it. Because it's almost like a black person that won't eat chicken in public or won't eat a watermelon in public. It's this stigma some of them have, like, you know, that connection, but that ain't me. He also, there's a little girl, her name is Kimani, and she is the cutest thing. I ain't gonna tell y'all about her, but y'all don't see it. She made me, I wanted to cry. That little girl, she was just too cute. And she said she's the garden police. Nobody better not mess with her garden. They better not climb on her fence. And I was like, am I a grown version of Kimani? Am I the garden police? Because that's me. I don't play by my garden. You drop something, you need to pick it. I'm the garden police. I was like, girl, you made me proud, Kimani. Let's see, growing your own food is defiant. Oh, this is by another quote by Ron. He said, growing your own food is defiant, and you're disrupting a system that's in place. That makes you a renegade gardener, and I like that. He also has a t-shirt that says Renegade Gardener. I need to find that. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick, but yeah, basically, and I might have to end up cut this video because it's 13 minutes, but basically check it out. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.